I am a full-blood member of the Muskogee Creek tribe. I am going to speak about, you will probably never find it in the libraries. The most educated person in the United States does not have this history. The history of my people were preserved in the medicine man. When we speak of a medicine man, most people think of somebody that's always picking up herbs, recommending medicine, but there is more to it in my tribe. The word Muskogee is our original names and not the Creeks. The word Creek was never used until later years, probably somewhere in 1800s. But prior to that, we were called Muskogee. And from the very beginning of times, our name Muskogee was a longer word. Muskogee is only a short word for our tribe. Our tribe's name was Masi-Aksokje, which means those who possesses herbs. At one time, somewhere in the west, the earth opened its mouth. 3 groups of people came out of this earth. When they went further west, they lived in the land of fog. The sun was never seen, or nor did they see one another in speaking to each other. Because of the thickness of the fog, they never could see one another clear. One day, the wind came and blew the fog away. And the first animal that was seen by my people, they became that clan. And the first animal that was seen was the bear. So that group became the Bear Clan, which has a lot to do with tradition, ceremonies, that we have our ceremonial grounds. All these clans has a lot to do with it. Since the wind came and blew the fog away, the Wind Clan had a position in the tribe. I am of the Wind Clan. My father was a Bear Clan. And therefore, I was chosen to hold a position, not by the people, not by election, not by appointment, does one become a medicine man. A medicine man is observed from his birth. If he is qualified to become a medicine man, then he begins training at early age. Different herbs are told to him what they are good for. And as time goes by, he begins to pick up more and more from the older medicine men. He never goes out to publish himself or to announce himself. By his actions and by his looks, by his ways, he is judged as a medicine man. Then someday someone will come to him for medicine, and he prepares a medicine for this person. Then later on, he becomes well known to the tribe. He never steps out to tell you that he knows this and he knows that. All of his knowledge is kept in secret in his heart. Even his children never learns everything from his father, even though he is a medicine man. 4 herbs was introduced to my tribe. One known as the red willow root, the other snake root, and the other spicewood. Also, the small leaf tobacco was given to them. Every morning, it was a custom by my people that they get up before the sun came up, because they were going to see the sun. Going to the mountains, they stood on the top of the mountain. And in ancient language, they cried out, "Go Hashida," which means, "Where is the sun?" Here is the custom that was picked up by my people, that everything they did, they went to the river to take a bath, because it was thought that the sun takes a bath every morning. Therefore, it is so clean and bright. To this day, everything my tribe does concerning medicine, tribal ceremonial grounds that we have, they still yet go to the river to take a bath. In winter months, a traditional Indian that has always lived according to his traditions will go to the sweat lodge. No matter how deep the snow is, no matter how thick the ice is on the water, coming out of the sweat lodge, he will go to the river and take a bath. This I practiced many years ago. Today, I still yet practice that. Many of my own people, the Creek people, even though that they have neglected sweat lodge, I still go to my sweat lodge. I myself has experienced what the Sweat Lodge has done for me. Some 3-4 years ago, when I was down with my heart, I had to walk around my yard with a walking stick. I still have 2 walking sticks at home that I used in my yard. I could not go to the mailbox to even check my mail without being short-winded. I had to stop. Many times I had to lay down and rest. I used my Sweat Lodge for 1 whole month, not missing a single day. I went through the Sweat Lodge 1 month. Then I began to put my walking stick away. I myself has experienced what the Sweat Lodge has done for me. I understand that this is the religion that was given to us by the Creator. All Indians believe, not only the Creek people, all Indians believe in the creation. Indian people are closely related to nature. Therefore, it hurts an Indian whenever his land is being ripped off. When he sees his timber going down, there you find trouble with the Indians. You may wonder why the Indians are protesting, why the Indians are demonstrating all over the country. Why did we have the wars of yesteryear? Why did Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, and many others, Chief Joseph, why did they fight in the old days? They fought to preserve that religion. They fought to preserve their culture, that their Indian people may be able to speak their language. Some 20, 30 years ago, there was a time when we went to these schools. We were not permitted to speak our language. Some of the older people understands that. That's how come some of our Indian people does not know their language, because in this school, they were told not to speak their language. I myself, I had to associate with other tribes so I wouldn't speak my language. But for some unknown reason, I preserved my language. Today, I have children at home. They learn first the language that was given to us by the Creator. I do not believe in being so disobedient to the Creator. The Creator comes first. I truly believe the creation and the Creator. Any day, I will listen to the Creator before I listen to the government or nobody else. That's how strong I believe. This is the first belief of the Indian people. Those Indian people that has forgot their language, they could not help it. But today, they have the chance to restore their language. And I'm glad to see this being taught in some of our government schools. Some of the religion that our Indian people practice. There were certain laws passed that we could not take part in this religion, such as the sun dance, in which is known to the northern Indians. This is their religion. Nevertheless, the government passed a law that they could not protect of this type of religion. Why? Who is the man, who is the person that has the authority to tell us how to practice our religion when we were instructed from the early times what to practice? Indians are believers in the truth. We believe in the truth. We believe in what we see. I, for myself, I would rather take a backward step. One more step, I feel better. Another step, I feel much better. And if I could go all the way back to all Indian life, I would find a pure, clean life. But stepping further, I see disaster. We've always been asked to accept the American way of life. What is American way of life? What is the future for the dominating society? A few years ago, people were running over one another to go into Detroit. And I came through there less than 2 weeks ago. People are running over one another trying to get out of Detroit. So what's going on with the society? My friends, I'll tell you, the city life is coming to an end. I see that in the future. Indianness is a good life because living close to nature is a good life. A satisfactory and a happy life, what can take the place of it? We respect this earth as our Mother Earth because it provides for our clothes. It provides our meals on the table. Even now, not only for the Indian people, for everybody, this earth is their mother. When time comes that you can no longer buy food out of Safeway store, where do you suppose you're going to get your food? When we have wasted this land, when the air is polluted, when the rivers are polluted, who caused it? Is this the will of the Creator? No. The further back I could go, I would be better off. Because I see that the way of life that I have been told to accept is coming to an end. There's no way we're going to control this polluted air, the polluted rivers, how we're going to clear them out. People think that in this country there's no way that we could be starving. We have the best country in the world here. We had some truck drivers crossing the highways. If those truck drivers would have got right down to business and closed everything off, then what use would Safeway and IGA stores, supermarkets, what use would they be to us when there's nothing there for us to get? Then we would have to turn around and look at Mother Nature. We had to look at our Mother Earth for food and for clothing. Since we are part of this nature, that's why all the Indian problems have existed all through these years. All the wars of years ago, that was the reason for it. No one goes to war just for the fun of it. It's not no fun to be facing guns all the time. There's a reason for it. And that reason was to preserve their culture, to preserve nature. Everything that's put on this earth was put here for use, for our use. So we used everything that was set here for us. Even the trees, the herbs that grow, we used all of it. To an Indian, that animal out there is his brother. The birds of the air, they are related to them. All Indian customs were picked up from the creation. In the early times, we had no instructors. We had no schools to attend to. So our ancestors had to turn around and look at nature and consider the ways of nature. The entire Indian civilization was built upon nature. For that reason, the Indian people will fight you in order to preserve that nature. That's where our biggest arguments come from. That's where our biggest problems lies, because we are related to nature. A lot of things happen in this Indian country that we never stop to think about. I used Indian medicine before I ever used a white man's medicine. How do you go about proving that you're an Indian? To most of us, we'd probably go to the BIA to get our record and get our roll number. That number was given to us by the government. I want you people to remember that. The government is not the creator. Your Indianness comes from the Creator. So if all these questions was brought out, that would probably knock a lot of our people out. Just how much Indian are we? Pick up everything you can that's Indian. Don't never make joke of it. Don't never make fun of it. It's going to come in handy. Even your language, even you're just going to pick up one word, pick it up. It's yours. The Creator made you that way. No one has the authority to take the Indianness away from you. Today, under the law, the government can jerk out a card and say that you're not an Indian any longer. But I'll fight the government for that, because he doesn't have that power. If he can make an elephant out of a zebra, all right. But he's not going to do it. He doesn't have that much power. And that little card doesn't mean a thing to me. My Indianness is in here. He can terminate the government service to you. He can terminate the money. He can terminate you from going into this hospital, going to the BIA. But he cannot terminate you as an Indian. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. It's good that Indian people stand up as proud people. I know the treatments that they have been through all these years. Some of us can't help what we are. Some of us can't help it because we cannot speak our language. But let's not forget we're Indians, because no one has that power to tell us that. Our ancestors told us that this is the way of life that was given to your people, your tribe. This is the life that was given to you. And it's up to you and I to decide who we are going to listen to. Who has the right to tell us that you got to act like we? That's how come many times I say it's hard for me to jump in that bandwagon, the dominating society's bandwagon. It's hard for me to jump in there, because first thing I want to know, where's the dominating society going to? If they get in my wagon, I'll tell them where I'm going. I see future for my people. That's why I'm talking about future life, satisfaction in life. Nothing can take the place of it. Our value systems are different. The Indian people never reached out for money that much. But for the need of that money, our lands have been ripped off. We have to cheat somebody in order to reach out there for that money. This is not Indian. This is not our belief. We believe in long, happy life. Wasn't it that way according to the biblical times when people lived to be 900 years old? That's a lot of years to live a 900-year-old life. People in the Mosaic time believed in moral law, so they lived a long life. Somewhere down the line, they taught us that we're going to die, so we better get prepared for dying. And that's what's wrong with us now. We live according to the way we think. In the old days, when people looked forward to long life, they did live a long life. But somewhere down the line, they told us that it's better to die. It's a gain for us to die. So everybody started thinking about dying. Therefore, we got our insurance paid. When we go down the highway and we get hit by another car, we're going to die, so we got our insurance paid. We got our burial policies paid. We're all expecting death somewhere, and therefore we die. They tell me that when you get at the age of 40, you start going over the hill. These kind of thoughts, these kind of ideas, that it corrupts the Indian mind. I'm way over 40, and I stomp dance all night. So we're living according to the way we think. We have what we call herb doctors, which doesn't know anything but herbs. They will recommend some herbs for some sickness. Then a medicine man is a little bit, knows a little bit more than an herb doctor, because a medicine man has to understand medicine song. I go out into the woods. There is no limit to education out there. What I learn out there, what I learned looking at the birds, what I learned looking at the trees, I take it that I know something you don't know. And that type of education comes from the Creator. I still go back to the Bible. I used to go to church. I know what it is. I know all about it. We had Bible for subject every day over here at Bacon. We studied that every day. We even wrote books about it. So I know what I'm talking about. So it is written in the book of Proverbs, go to the ant bed, consider her ways and be wise. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. It doesn't say nothing about the facts. It says the truth. And what is the difference between the truth and the facts? Facts is something that the society has accepted to be the truth, which does not necessarily have to be the truth. You'll understand these things if you hang around these court buildings like I've been doing. Once a person has a day in court, and the court says that these two guys that come into the court, both of them could be honest people. They could be good people. But since he has a day in court, the judge says that he's a criminal. Whether he is or not, he is a criminal. According to the evidence, he's a criminal. Then to the society it becomes a fact that he is a criminal. But what is the truth? In this country, long before the white man came here, we had laws, but we had no jailhouses. No Indian people ever had any prison walls in which they put their people in. But laws were carried out. Laws were complied with. In each and every case, the accusing person never had to have a witness. But under the court system that we have to have an eyewitness, one or two witnesses. Why? The person that originated that type of a system could not trust his own self, so he had to have a witness. In the Indian way of life, Indian's word was good. If an Indian was told that you come to the courthouse, the Indian court, or you come before the elders, and that the elders are going to kill you on a certain day, that Indian would come up there to be executed. Those were truthful Indians. They were honest people. And that is what I mean by believing in the truth. When we believe in the truth, we will find freedom there. If you ask him, how come you got all those feathers on out there war dancing? How did y'all start wearing all them feathers? That Indian is not going to waste time trying to explain to you. He will take you and show you his belief. Then you say, Mr. Indian, how come in your religious ceremonies, why do you do this? Again, he will take you out here to the nature and show you that it worked for the ants, it worked for these insects, it worked for the human beings. That is the truth. That's how come he believes in the truth. We people, we got a brain up here. We were created that way. But how many people uses that brain? Today, we are being told what to do all the time. They tell us what to do. There's someone else deciding for us. There's already books written for us to follow, which is not our own way of thinking. But we are taught to live this way. We are taught to think this way. Now we are even being controlled. Our brains are being controlled. And perhaps this is the reason for all the problems throughout this country here. I sometimes think about that. Now they've been telling us for 200 years that you quit that Indianness over here, you better get over here with us. You wear clothes like I do. You cut your hair. You send your kids to school. You do this and you do that. I'm the dominating society. I'm bigger than you. I outnumber you. You do this. We've been told that for 200 years. And we thought that was the right way. So we've been trying to live that life. And here we see people fighting and protesting throughout all this country here. What kind of life is that? Even the television has hidden the truth from him. Even his own government, they have hidden, they have covered up. The rotten dealings, the corruption that lies in Washington has been hidden from the public. The Indian problems, the Wounded Knee problems. What you see on television is nothing but violence. But you don't see why the causes of these violence. The press, the news media, does not bring out the truth of what actually takes place. For the convenience and for your luxury here in the United States, there are people suffering.